Aircraft will fly a route search from the point of takeoff to where they're supposed to be going. After that route search has been flown, then we put aircraft in specific grids around the area and search them and see if we can't find where they might be.
We've attempted for several hours to try and make contact with them. We were unable to make any contact with them, so we used CS gas and shot gas into the house, and then we sent in an entry team, and they found the subject inside. He's alive.
The projections are around 1 million, could be many more than that. That's a lot of voters, and I think they should pay attention to it. That's a lot of people wanting their civil rights and certainly deserving of them, and I think it will be effective.
On Easter Sunday, 3,000 people visited a farm field near Kettle River hoping to see the Virgin Mary. Although she did not appear, several people said they saw the sun spin, and at least one claimed their rosary turned color. Now, in a letter to the editor of the Moose Lake Arrowhead Leader, Earl Nett, the president of the corporation, Messages from Mary, Mary's Guest House, says his group will respond to the Duluth Diocese request to dissolve the organization, saying they are no longer able to carry out the work of their Blessed Mother. The nonprofit organization was formed to help spread the word of hundreds of messages Steve Marino says he received from the Virgin Mary. One of the most recent messages claims she would appear Easter Sunday. By telephone, Mr. Nett told me they have received phone calls, letters, and faxes, all claiming conversions within families and healings for people who did visit the cross on Easter. But they will continue to follow Bishop Roger Schweitz's call for obedience. Messages from Mary, Mary's Guest Guest House Incorporated holds hundreds of acres of valuable farmland and several homes near the Field of the Cross. In this copy of the Certificate of Incorporation filed with the Minnesota Secretary of State's office, it appears the Catholic Diocese of Duluth could be a benefactor of any dissolution.
But another key feature of our tourism industry, of course, are the visitor attractions. The unique things about Duluth that reflect our culture, our heritage, the activities that are available in the city of Duluth and the surrounding area. And that's what we celebrate in this weekend.
The fact is, Mr. Olson, you are a menace to society by virtue of your driving record. You have been given an opportunity to help yourself and stay out of trouble, but you haven't taken it.
And with those words, Judge Michael Lucci tacked on another 6 months to Stephen Olson's already lengthy prison sentence.
This is a sad story of a young alcoholic.
Olson's story begins outside the courtroom and behind the wheel of a car he was driving in 1990 while under the influence of alcohol. The passenger, his best friend, was killed. After serving a short prison sentence, Olson was picked up a second time. More jail time and treatment for his alcoholism. Today marks his third conviction. The 6-month sentence comes as a harsh blow to friends and family members who say Olson has been punished enough by the death of his friend.
There has to be additional punishment. You can't just say it's a bad situation and we're going to let it go and hopefully someone learns. There has to be the punishment.
Olson's alcohol problem has drawn the attention of members of Mothers Against Drunk Driving. In court today, they applauded the prosecution. But some wonder if today's proceedings could have been avoided altogether if a tougher sentence had been imposed for Olson's first conviction.
If they had put Steve Olson behind bars at that point, there is a good chance that he might have gotten the message.
But Douglas County Prosecutor Dan Blank says given Olson's history, he doubts a longer sentence would have made a difference. Wisconsin's drunk driving laws have gotten a lot tougher in the past few years. But those who work in the judicial system say laws can only go so far, that at some point people must take responsibility for their actions. In Superior, Amy Rutledge, News 6.
We went down there a couple times.
I believe people aren't going to come from out of town for a long distance for a 2 walleye limit. You know, that extra fish really helps. You figure a 2-day limit's 2 fish, so it makes a big difference.
At this point, the male is lodged in Douglas County Jail, and the female has been released to appear. She was given a court date, and she's now back at the residence until a court date.
has some very good memories of Dorothy. Dorothy was a person that she always had her door open and always had a cup of coffee on for people that would visit her. And she had a lot of visitors. During over summertime, she'd have from 5,000 to 7,000 people stop in to see her. And we're hoping that all those people now will come back and want to see the cabins.
Congratulations.
These troopers have worked the Duluth area almost their entire careers. Most of them started on the freeways in the Twin Cities and eventually were able to transfer up here.
We need someone with the net, then you can just... Are there really things in there?
Which is really important because the data we get is baseline data then. We can look at our data 50 years from now and determine if something has happened to the quality of the river.
Lose weight overnight, look years younger. There are even claims of instant cures for arthritis. Sounds almost too good to be true. Well, it may be. Mail fraud costs consumers millions of dollars each year.
I mean, is there anybody who has not received a telephone call or who has not received a card in the mail saying they've just won a house or a boat or a car or a TV set? I won't say all of them are frauds, but a very, very large percentage of them are.
And many of these con artists target senior citizens, a group that is usually trusting, a group that has a lot of disposable resources.
I have a friend that's 94 years old. Most of the people she ever knew are dead. She gets over 20 pieces of mail a day, every single day. Every single piece of mail asks for her money.
Mail fraud works because people usually don't know it's fraud until it's much too late. It usually looks like a good business deal or a chance to make some easy money. The key is knowing fraud when you see it. And that's the aim of seminars like this one held for Northland seniors fighting back against fraud. Postal officials offer tips on how to not become a victim, tips like beware of the "you're a winner" scam.
That's one of the keys you look for. If somebody says, send me something of value, you're not a winner. When somebody says, you got to pay me money to get your prize, you got a fraud.
And while seniors are often targeted, mail fraud can happen to anyone.
I don't know, I was just driving and smelled smoke and then pulled over and went up in flames.
How fast did it happen?
A couple seconds.
Yeah.
Just had enough time to get out of the car. And then looked at it and couldn't even open the hood to see what was on fire. The whole tunnel was filled with smoke.
We decided to split up and come out and pick up some areas that the public use, because nobody enjoys public areas when they're dirty.
Take you to mow your lawn?
Well, by hand, it'll take me over 2 hours. I do it all by hand.
Okay, we'll roll over here in the grass.
Okay.
We love the spot. This program, they will use the mower during the summer, keep a log, and as an EPA will provide us with test results somewhere down the line. Not that much is known about the so-called small utility engines.
It gives the kids something to look forward to throughout the year. It gives them a chance to be in the limelight. They're the most important people here. Gives them the chance to reach their full potential.
Looming large in the binoculars here.
The money goes to support sight and hearing impaired projects that we have, and I'm just real excited that we were able to raise that much money today for this project.
They're probably faring much better. Goodness. Somebody go get a motorboat. Maybe you can go over and pick them up and bring them back. Oh, there.
And others, but how fortunate we are.
Of the original committee who brought KD&W to the Northland.
Oh, watch that wire. Yeah. Get us off the air.
In the years that we look back, Reagan Grovey was referring to 1959 when the first vision of Christian radio was brought about, and now 34 years later.
Four more zeros. Three more zeros. Three more zeros. A lot of zeros anyway.
It's right for its citizens. And I'm fed up with doing what's politically proper and what's right for the people. I'm sick and tired and fed up with all that crap. And the sooner it stops, the better. We want to do what's right here for the people, period. That's it.
I think that we are certainly in excellent shape relative to other parts of the country. There are some problems as they were identified, but I don't think we're in a doomed situation here at this point. We could be down the road if we aren't careful of what we're doing.
They clung to the boat for a period of time, but then tried to make a swim for shore. And looks like 3 of them made it, and the one didn't.
He had full fuel on the airplane, and due to the weather, he had to get some of the weight off the airplane to land safely with the crosswinds. And so the procedures were to tell the tanks to get off the airplane, so he pushed a button and the tanks left the aircraft.
The fuel tanks are about 10 feet in length. They're attached to the underside of the F-16's wings and are designed so they can be detached on emergency. Such was the case today. The tanks were located in a swampy, unpopulated area near the southwest corner of Rice Lake. It is not known at this point if they ruptured. This isn't the first time Air Guard officials have had to search the area near Martin and LeVake roads. Just last September, an F-16 crashed near here. The pilot safely ejected.
The only conclusion I could come to was that it was racially motivated. I couldn't think of anything else, and I've tried and I've tried. I'm not the type of person who just want to jump up and say, okay, racial discrimination is just not in my blood. It's just not me.
The environmental assessment showed that most of the fuel that had spilled out of the tanks was on the surface and had evaporated. They put out some booms to catch any fuel that may have drifted out down the ditch stream that was there, but none was found in the ditch stream.
At this time of the morning, it was quiet anyway. It's just opening hours for the bank and everything. It wasn't a traumatic type of incident as far, I'm sure it was for the teller, but not for the rest of the bank.
It was in this quiet East Duluth neighborhood that two brothers plotted to kill their parents. Authorities uncovered the plan while investigating an unrelated crime. They say the pair, aged 17 and 20, would have carried out the murder by staging a burglary. They planned to shoot their parents.
The information we have is that they believed there would be significant financial benefit to affecting the death of their parents.
Police arrested the brothers, but because of insufficient evidence, no charges are expected. That doesn't mean, however, that Duluth police are not taking the murder plot seriously.
We believed, and we still do believe, that in fact the plan was intended to be carried out. And we have to make the decision whether to interrupt the plan at the stage that we did by arresting persons, or whether we should let the plan go further in an attempt to get additional information.
Because the brothers only talked about the crime but never took any real action towards carrying it out, the county attorney's office has decided not to press charges. The brothers did, however, make a list of how they would spend the money they would have received from their dead parents' estate, including new motorcycles and drugs. Police say the parents are fully aware of the conspiracy. Their sons are no longer living with them. In Duluth, Amy Rutledge, News 6.
Parents see their children every day, but sometimes forget that kids grow quickly. Any child's height, weight, and appearance can change in a matter of a few months, making home snapshots quickly outdated.
How come you came down here today?
Because I wanted to get my picture taken.
Because of the rapidly growing number of abductions in the United States and the importance of photographs in searches, Montgomery Ward stores are offering free pictures of children. A close-up photo along with the child's height and weight are included in an identification booklet for parents. Thousands and thousands of children disappear every year, and they can be anywhere, in the convenience store or here at the playground. And police say without a current, accurate photo, finding a missing child can be almost impossible.
You know, if a guy is out looking for in the middle of summer, he's looking for a 4-year-old child who's this tall and is wearing shorts and a t-shirt. That doesn't narrow it down very much.
To help keep your children safe from abduction, talk with them about what to do if they're alone. Don't talk to strangers continues to be the most important rule, but also tell your children to refuse gifts from people they don't know and to report any uncomfortable or unwanted contact immediately to an adult they know and trust.
You never know when something's going to happen to your children. You always hope it's not going to be yours, or any of them for that matter.
I think it's important. You hear so much about children being missing and all the different things that you can do to prevent those types of things from happening and things that you can do to safeguard your children. I think this is a terrific idea.
In Duluth, Derek Hines, News 6.
Assignment Serbia-Croatia began on a late Sunday afternoon at Duluth International Airport with one final plea from my wife about not trying to be a hero. 24 hours later, Vienna, Austria. Our television equipment ended up in Bulgaria, however, and arrived 24 hours after we did. Cameraman Danny Roth and I then trained to Budapest, Hungary.
We are heading from a rather controlled country into a situation that has been changing constantly in the past few days.
A 7-hour train ride put us in Belgrade, Yugoslavia. 2 hours later, the police towed our car while we worked the black market exchanging money. We got the car back, but it broke down later that afternoon in Boca on the Romanian border, and then again in Belgrade's outskirts late that night. Assignment Serbia-Croatia was off to a rocky start. But for the next 3 days, we grew to understand the will of the Serbian people, to understand their determination, their zest for living life to its fullest, despite the severe economic struggles they face. It was difficult to say goodbye.
And I hope that this will not be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It is Saturday night, and this is the main square of Zagreb in Croatia.
We arrived in Croatia after another trip through Budapest and then Zurich, Switzerland. It's like going to Winnipeg, flying to Denver, and ending up in Minneapolis. We found it necessary to change our schedule of appointments in Croatia because of renewed fighting among the Serbs and Croats in areas we were to have visited. 9 days into our assignment, we were leaving Serbia and Croatia behind.
Photographer Dan Roth and I are very happy that we're going home.
Back in Vienna, we met these street musicians from Zagreb, just 3 of an estimated 400,000 people from Serbia and Croatia who have left their countries in the past 2 years, putting the war behind them. These are the faces of some of the people who can't escape the war and fighting in the Balkans. The young people we met in what was Yugoslavia. 16-year-old Alexandra Milic, who speaks 4 languages and wants to be a journalist.
This brother and sister who begged for food and money, and this young boy who told our interpreter he had not eaten for 2 days, and 9-year-old Anita Krukich, who lives in the Karlovats refugee camp, and whose smile and face would be difficult for anyone to forget. I never will.
Say that again? Can you say that again?
He was coming down Masabi and he tried to make, here's the skid marks here, he tried to make the corner and get the pole.
In order to do this activity, they definitely need to use their creative thinking skills. Not only that, but they also need to bring in their academics, the reading skills, the writing skills, social studies skills.
Most importantly, of course, was the fact that taxes were not increased on the citizens, that we were able to live within our natural increase in revenues, which for the next 2 years will be 10.8% or $1.6 billion.
People have worked a lot with quality initiatives in private major city, all use the same computers between various entities. It's called the Governor's Council on Government. That report is due to the governor on the 1st of December, and it's a very active commission that's working right now. They have representatives there from higher ed, K through 12, counties, cities, townships. People have worked.
Nearly a year has gone by since construction employees went to work at Wade Stadium, and they're finally putting on the finishing touches. But it wasn't a smooth process. When the Dukes signed on at Wade Stadium, Duluth took on the costs of updating it. Last summer, city officials estimated a renovation cost at around $300,000. A year later, the construction cost has nearly doubled. Duluth Mayor Gary Doty says they did their best to save money.
Did the work, most of it internally in terms of architecture and the construction management of it. Had we not done that, the facility to renovate would probably have doubled in cost. We'd have been well over $1 million.
The renovations ranged from an expensive roofing job to new lockers to a new sound system. All of the improvements that have taken place were necessary.
Just about everything that was done out of need if we were going to open up and use the facility. We haven't gone overboard in terms of being real fancy with everything, but it is a very, very nice, very well done facility that if we maintain will be around for a long, long time.
The money the city spent on the renovations came from an economic development fund originally subsidized by local hospitals. Duluth hopes to put the money back using a variety of incoming revenues. The city is also considering a 5% tax on charitable gambling organizations. One group supporting this tax is the Amateur Hockey Association.
With the funds being used for youth athletics, we felt that it was a worthwhile venture in terms of helping support the community citywide.
A city council meeting to discuss the tax is set for Monday. In the meantime, construction is finishing up at the Wade. In Duluth, Amy Cook, News 6.
That there weren't any tax increases, and that's the first time I've seen that happen in a long, long time. And if the economy of America and the economy of Minnesota don't perform as expected, the agreement is now that we will cut spending.
The big mallee is here is our great big mallee. I don't know how far you want to walk.
it up, turn it around, and then go up to the street.
I'll be there as soon as I can.
You probably have to be a better an average golfer probably to get closer to the pin on a consistent basis, but I don't know. We've got a fellow out here that's about 85 years old. He's going to hit in a little while, so anybody can try it.
Chicken here at Wade Stadium.
Yeah.
Over there, doing the antics. Oh, he gave a nice swift kick to Nichols. That's all right. Now he's bugging home plate umpire Kurt Moreno. Oh no, he's appreciating his work, his fine work here tonight. Manager Mal Fishman did the big chicken out here, coaching first base. Cowlick.
Full service copy center is Sheldon Reproduction Center, 124.
Leadoff hitter Lamar Hall, batting 200 in between any festivities here at Wade Stadium.
And I thought that guy was overpaid. Chris Cowlick will start things off for the Dukes in the fourth.
Well, Ted, there's Keith Lytle in Mal Fitchman's place there at third base. Wayne Rosenthal taking over at first base. Mal Fitchman.
Even though fireworks are restricted in this area, hundreds of people have been injured in recent years. 2/3 of those injured are children.
Most of them are kids that are holding them and they go off, that type of thing, where they're getting burned to the fingers. Occasionally you get trauma to the eye. It's not as common as it once was. I think people are more aware.
Minnesota state statute says it is illegal for anyone to use, sell, or possess any type of exploding fireworks without a public display permit. Wisconsin allows some fireworks, including small cone-type fountains, which draw a lot of people across the state line.
But, as the week picks up and it gets closer to the 4th of July, it's been getting better and better. A lot of people coming in, a lot of tourists from out of town. With Grandma's weekend, it was a big weekend.
3 deaths have resulted in the last 2 years from legal fireworks that backfired. Police officials in both Duluth and Superior are used to dealing with the problem.
Sure, we would follow up our investigation to find out if they purchased the illegal fireworks locally, and if our investigation revealed someone broke the law here in Superior, we would refer that to the District Attorney's Office for criminal prosecution.
Both the cities of Duluth and Superior have had no reported incidents so far this year. Local authorities expect that to change as we get closer to the holiday weekend. Dave Jench, News 6.
We're very frustrated with the lack of progress. We wanted to bring this public. At this time, we're not looking to strike.
Support the employees. That's what we should have. And Bobby V, Night as a Thousand Eyes, resident out western Minnesota. This is the 9th year for Fourth Fest, and as you know, it's a community celebration. It's admission free to the public. The city has put this on over the years to give folks something nice to do during the day leading up to the fireworks, which have gone on here on the 4th of July forever.
As Sean Decking gathered his belongings, he still had trouble believing that he was actually getting out of his jail cell home of the last 5 months. With leg irons and handcuffs, he walked into the federal courthouse, only to emerge within minutes, a free man.
Happy to be out. Well, it's not over yet.
Well, you're out. It's over.
Decking's freedom is due to the work of the Pine County Sheriff's Office. Deputies were looking at a surveillance camera picture and recognized the man who has now been arrested for the bank robberies.
As they looked at it and indicated that they thought they knew who it was, they dug out a file, looked at a picture there, and then been to my office, a very strong resemblance, and so we contacted the authorities down there.
Later that day, with a search warrant in hand, authorities converged on the home of Jerome Thomas Klepper.
The individual was gone at the time that they started to execute the warrants, but came home later. He was taken into custody, and subsequently, from evidence that was obtained and also from the from what he indicated, they placed him into custody.
Klepper is being held in the Ramsey County Jail under suspicion of 5 bank robberies. Sean Decking has had a couple of job offers and is beginning to put his life back together, but he can't sue the federal government for his 5 months incarceration, nor recover the money he lost while in jail and unable to work. He has yet to receive any apologies from the federal officials who put him in jail. Barbara Riles, News 6.
State conservation officers were checking fishing licenses today. If you can hold them up for us and maintain your course, and we'll look at them from here.
DNR enforcement officials are on the water during the July 4th holiday for Water-Wise Weekend, a statewide effort to check safety requirements on Minnesota's lakes.
We like to remind people to be careful and, keep things common sense.
A number of stops result in tickets for game fishing violations.
Okay, I'll tell you what, we'll issue you a warning today for not having the trout stamp. So it'll just be a warning and then it won't cost you anything. Can I see your license so I can take the information off of it?
But fishing regulations are only part of Kathy Larson's job. Every stop includes safety items as well.
Can I see some life jackets? If I could just see 2 life jackets? See, and most of the time they are stored down below. But at least they have them. Good enough. All set. Thank you.
Life jackets continue to be the biggest concern for enforcement officials.
We find a good many of them wearing them, but most of them, as you see in that last boat, they're stowed down below, which isn't going to do them good if they fall over.
The DNR says boaters should simply plan ahead before heading out on the water.
Really think safety this weekend, use good judgment, and use moderation.
And be sure to wear your life jacket.
Yeah, I can see him. I can see him. That's good enough. Okay, you got him. You're all set. All right. Whoa.
Anything else we can do for you?
No, that's all. Catch some fish. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
On Lake Superior, Derek Hines, News 6.
Whoa.
You know, no matter what the financial status of the airline is, as long as they're flying, they're going to need maintenance, and that's mandated by law. We've been told all along that the need for the maintenance base has remained high. They're part of their maintenance plan, and we're hoping that eventually it comes to that, they build the maintenance bases here.
Well, I think I've established myself as an asset on the DITA board. I've, again, historically taken views that have been supportive of business and business development.
Yeah, why don't you guys get out? Out!
When you look around and you see that you got fire, you got police, in fact, most of the Duluth police squads in the city are currently tied up on this, keeping people right away from the scene and doing the outer perimeter security as well as the people that are inside.
What's that? The TRT team is.
I've been born and raised in a small town in Carson Lake, and I lived there for 20 years, and we were all neighbors, all different nationalities, and everybody was like a brother and a sister together, and it should be the same thing over there. And I don't know why they're fighting over there, I really don't.